It's week 29 in the Premier League and we have our first domestic trophy set to be given as well, as many in the top 6 in the Premier League will play each other. This could be a big weekend. Good afternoon everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome to the Footy Network, where we'll be going through the key fixtures of this weekend. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you to everyone who is subscribed. And well, it's going to be a busy one. We've got the League Cup final between Liverpool and Newcastle. You got Arsenal taking on Chelsea. And can Forest get themselves closer to Arsenal? So let's jump into this and get into the first game. Goodison Park will see the opening game of the weekend as Everton will take on West Ham United, and both these teams are on 33 points in the league. However, their recent form is differing slightly. West Ham just took an L to Newcastle in a boring 1-0 loss on Monday, and Everton on the other hand are undefeated in 5. Yes, they've drawn 4 of those 5, but under Moyes, are they now on the beach on 33 points? This game should be a good contest, a good old school English Premier League match, but I see it going to the home team. I'm gonna go with Everton 2, West Ham 0. I feel both teams should be comfortable. Yes, they're not quite at the 40-point mark, but the gap to the bottom 3 is so big right now that they should just go for it. St Mary's Stadium will see the second match of the weekend as Southampton take on Wolves. Now, technically, Wolves are the last team, in my opinion, that the bottom 3 can catch. And if Southampton want any chance of thinking about survival, they have to get 3 points in this match. And this is probably not a bad time to play Wolves, as Cunha is still suspended and he is by far and away their best player. Southampton did show signs of life against Liverpool, taking the lead at Anfield before eventually losing 3-1 to them. But if Wolves can get the win here, I think that's it. The bottom 3 is done and dusted. Currently, what's the point gap? They've got 6 points to Ipswich. If they could win that and Ipswich don't win this weekend, 9 points feels game, set and match. But you know what? I need Saints to beat that derby record. So I'm going to go Southampton 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Southampton, if you could go and win this one and then we can stop talking about this derby record, I'll be much obliged. Portman Road will see the main event of this weekend as Ipswich Town will take on Nottingham Forest. And Forest could secure, or at least make it more likely to get Champions League spots after they beat Man City 1-0 the previous weekend. Come on, you Reds. Ipswich, on the other hand, have picked up 1 point in their last 5. And it's not looking good for them. Yes, they're in 17th. They lost to Crystal Palace. As I just mentioned, there's a 6-point gap between them and Wolves. If they lose to Forest here, this could be game, set and match. But Forest are by no means on the beach. They need to get a couple more wins to put a gap between them and those teams playing each other this weekend in and around them. So I'm going to go Ipswich Town 0, Forest 1. I hope it's more, but just give me 3 points on this one and let's move on to Manchester United after the break. The Etihad Stadium will see Manchester City hosting Brighton. This is 5th versus 7th in the Premier League, and this couldn't be tighter. Man City are currently sitting on 47 points and are in 5th. Brighton in 7th on 46 points, and they've gone 4 W's in a row in the league, 6 overall in their last matches. Ever since they got slapped 7-0 by Forest, they've been showing some form. Yes, they did get lucky in their previous match with a late penalty to secure a win against Fulham. But right now, Man City are so inconsistent. Who would have seen a loss to Forest? And can they and are they going to be able to secure a top 5 spot and get back in the Champions League? They need a win here. And I think Pep's going to sort it out. I'm going to go Manchester City 3, Brighton 1. And that will be the end of a very good recovery from Brighton so far, but I think the Champions League is out of reach for them. Who do you think get the top 5 spots? Let me know in the comments. The Vitality Stadium will see Bournemouth hosting Brentford, and Bournemouth are 9th in the table, but 44 points on the board, not that far off a Champions League spot, God forbid. Brentford, on the other hand, could still be in a shout for one of the European spots. They're sitting in 12th place currently on 38 points. However, Bournemouth have been a little rocky as of late. They've taken 2 L's in a row and then threw away what felt like it should be a comfortable win against Spurs last weekend. Brentford, on the other hand, can they get into Europe? Would that be Tech Stadium? Do we want to see them in Europe? I don't know. Thomas Frank, will he still be there at the end of the season as well? Or has he taken Brentford as far as he can? I'm going to go for Bournemouth 1, Brentford 1. I think these two teams will just cancel each other out, and I think it'll be a bit of a boring game. The Emirates Stadium will see Arsenal taking on London rivals Chelsea, and Arsenal have found themselves closer to 10th place than they are to Liverpool right now, and have been dragged back into a top 5 race, as I predicted. Chelsea, on the other hand, have had 2 free wins, having played Southampton and then having played Leicester, and only just scraping past Leicester with a 1-0 win. But this game is key. If you look at the table, Arsenal are second on 55 points. Chelsea are now sitting 4th on 49 points. If Chelsea could get a win here, they would close that gap down to 3 for Arsenal. But they don't do well at the Emirates. Chelsea seem to stink it out when they go there. How do I see this one going? You know what? I think they cancel each other out. I'm going to go Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. I just don't think Arsenal score goals in the Premier League right now with their dusty looking attack. And Chelsea, although have come into good form right now with 2 wins in a row, I just don't think they can score at Emirates. So I'm going 0-0 on this one. What do you guys think? Craven Cottage will see the next game as Fulham will host Tottenham. And this is kind of London derby, I guess. I don't know if there's any beef between the two fan bases, but Spurs currently sit in a whopping 13th place in the Premier League with 34 points. Fulham, on the other hand, on 42 and are 10th, still with a shout of Europe. Fulham lost very late to Brighton with that penalty decision, and Spurs, I don't know how they did it, but they scumbagged themselves to a point against Bournemouth last week. And is he going to survive? Who knows? And with Marco Silva in the other dugout, I think he outscores him. I'm going to go for a home win. I'm going to go Fulham 2, Tottenham 1. Tottenham, obviously, depending on what happens tonight, that's their season in Europa. The league, they may as well use it as a pre-season friendly. King Power Stadium sees the next match as Leicester City will host Manchester United. And man, oh man, are Leicester in trouble. Van Nistelrooy coming up against his old team. Without a goal since they played Spurs. Without a goal at home, I don't think in 2025. I guess the question isn't who's going to win. It's can Leicester City actually score a goal? Manchester United, on the other hand, are nearly safe from the drop. They're sitting, where are they? 14th in the Premier League. I mean, you have to scroll down to find them. They should win this. This should be a free win. They're relying too much on Bruno, in my opinion. Bruno seems to be moments FC for them, coming up with a goal and a free kick here and there like he did against Arsenal last week, although they did seem to play a bit better. But when they're on the front foot, I think they struggle. I still can't see them not winning this. But I'm going to give Leicester a goal. I'm going Leicester City 1, Manchester United 2. Leicester fans, at least you may have a goal to celebrate. Wembley Stadium will see the final game of the weekend as Liverpool will take on Newcastle United in the League Cup final. And this is Everyone's putting Liverpool as favourites, aren't they? But with them crashing out to PSG on penalties at Anfield, with Núñez missing a terrible penalty, does that give the Geordies some hope? They've had a confidence-boosting win against West Ham, with Bruno scoring the winner there. But can they take it to Liverpool? I actually think Liverpool going out doesn't help Newcastle, because it means they're more focused now on the League Cup final rather than thinking about doing a double with the Premier League and the Champions League. I would love Newcastle to win this one, I really would. Break that cartel 6 up, I say. But I'm going to go Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0. I really hope I'm wrong on this one, and that Liverpool just end up with one trophy after they were talking about doing a quad. What do you guys think though? Can Newcastle do it? Let me know in the comments. And that's all your Premier League and Cup final games for this weekend. Only 9 this week, obviously, because 2 games had to be paused due to the final. Get your score predictions in down below as always. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the Footy Network if you are new. Good luck to your teams this weekend, and we'll see you on the next video.